Hello, Destinites, and welcome to a discussion of the patch 2.1. The game got patched, and with it came a tsunami of derp. So basically, it's the community is abuzz with the different things that have occurred as a result of the 2.1 patch that's happened. There's been a lot of errors, there's been a lot of misinformation, and quite frankly, it's no interest of mine to bash Bungie or whatever. I know that it's all these checks and balances. It's difficult when you do something like this, and you'll have better and worse patch releases. I don't know that they have a huge history of this. Correct me if I'm wrong. So the most important thing I want to do, of course, as a member of the community, is just to point out to people some of the most relevant things that you should be aware of, like to save the community some headache. And then maybe a few things that you might even laugh at or whatever, and a little bit of disappointment mixed in there as well, just because if you're familiar with sales at all, setting expectations and then breaking expectations is one of the worst things you can do to a customer. And if you're objective of that, it's okay, but if you're not, it really does hurt. And that falls under one of the central things that I'm going to discuss. So I'm probably gonna go. I've got it broken down basically. I've got the derp hashed out here. I've got this one big one that I'm gonna talk about at the beginning to do with an exotic. Then I'm gonna go into basically a video which I previously made discussing the patch before it got all derped up. Was talking about the weapon rebalancing, and so information has come out about the weapon rebalancing that is incredibly pertinent to anybody who's going to play in Crucible, or any aspect of the game actually. We should just have more accurate numbers, and they were totally off what we were quoted initially. So I want to get those numbers up on the screen. I did all this reading so you don't have to, but this is all available. The community is compiling a lot of this information in a sort of Reddit super thread, which I will post down at the bottom. So yeah, there's going to be a weapons I'm going to talk about, just generally weird things that happen to weapons. I'm going to talk about the weapon balance that got screwed up. I'm going to talk about this exotic issue, and then I'm going to talk about kind of some quest related things. Also broken down in this is that some of these things are hearsay, some of them are Bungie confirmed, and some of them are so confirmed by the community it's pretty much unanimous, but not yet confirmed by Bungie. And so I'll make sure to indicate to you whether that is the case or not with each thing that I'm discussing. So you're not just was that hearsay? Is this real? Is this not? Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to discuss, and this is to save the community a headache, is basically they're warning you right now that there's an issue with, and this is not fixed yet, that decrypting exotic boots may result in nothing. And this is one of these Bungie confirmed facts. So if you're like, ooh, I got this sweet set, can't wait to test it out and see what I get, don't decrypt those yet. Wait for some further information. Search on the Bungie website, follow the news source. Don't go decrypting your exotics, or you're going to have taken all that time to find that, and now you're up shit creek without a paddle, as they say eloquently. So that was one of the big ones. That's definitely pertinent to the community. You want to know that, absolutely. Now, the next part that'll go into the discussion of the derpiness of this patch, and which really bums me out, is the difference of a decimal place and the big difference that it makes. So, assault rifles we're supposed to see, and I was hyping this up, I was so stoked about this, and it leads to kind of an interesting fun fact, was that they were supposed to receive this major buff, where low rate of fire was supposed to get 3%, medium rate was getting 7%, high rate of fire was getting 4%. What it actually is, it's come out and confirmed now, this is another Bungie confirmed fact, is that the decimal point was in the wrong place, and that's a big deal. So that makes 3% 0.37, 0.7, and 4% even further, 0.04. So almost negligible rebalancing, although you have to play it out before you see a difference. But I mean, it's self-evident. This truth is self-evident that is nowhere near the same buff that we thought we were getting. Kind of funny though, I tell that as a sort of strange story, because I've been practicing so much and I hadn't looked at the hard numbers. I've had some incredible games recently with the assault rifles, and blindly the placebo effect was thinking, man, I'm so stoked on this buff that they've given it, without realizing that was probably just a result of my practice as opposed to the actual changes that they made. which should also show you where you might have some caution in your opinions and how much things change, right? Some of it ends up being a placebo effect when these patches come through, but nonetheless, that's gross misinformation to give to the community on your like central website and then have disseminated by anybody else who's reading it in the community, trying to get everybody else in the know who might not be always, you know, keeping up to date on it. On the flip end of that, so we had pulse rifles. This is kind of cool, I guess, in a way for me, because I was bummed out because I enjoyed pulse rifles so much. Pulse rifles were supposed to be reduced in damage, and they are, but again, it's just like the assault rifles, the decimal points in the wrong place. So where it was like, you know, 9, 7, and 8 or whatever, most of them across all of their... I'm going to have all this information. I will have had it for the auto rifles, but I'll have it for the pulse rifles as well. It's going to be like 0.9% that it's being reduced by. This is another Bungie confirmed fact. So not nearly the reduction that we thought it was going to be, and so head spinning all over again. You have to figure out how much is a placebo, how much that actually takes off. And if you go into the hard numbers, you can see people who've done this, and they'll like report to you, whether it's on Reddit or elsewhere, exactly what you're now getting with your headshots with these, and you know, the various rates of fire that you have. But yeah, not looking at a 9% decrease, you're looking at like a 0.9. So in both directions, it's not as significant. And that totally, again, like this patch was going to come in and change the playing field. This new discovery changes the playing field once again, because now players have to feel out how much this change affects everything. So now we move along. Those were, I really saw those as kind of the most pertinent. These next one that I have one that's kind of a hearsay, but I feel like it's going to come out that this is something that becomes more unanimous in the community. So we're moving into weapons now. It's funny how a couple of these were on the periphery of like my awareness. Like I think I noticed them in the game, and I was like, you just kind of blank them out. It's called like neural trimming when you don't focus on something like that. So one of them was Hawkmoon. I was looking at somebody's Hawkmoon, and I was like, oh yeah, whatever. Hawkmoon is showing double stats of holding aces. So it perks on it shows holding aces, which is cosmetic. I don't believe that it actually was affecting the weapon. It wasn't giving it a double perk of holding aces. So if you see that, don't worry too much. This is a confirmed, almost confirmed fact. Not Bungie confirmed, but this is being seen by a lot of people in the community, so it's not just a one-off. The next one, which is a real bummer, and I sure do hope they fix this quick. This is, so far, I have to say, hearsay. But if it's true, this is a real shame. So it's for fusion rifles. We're supposed to get this debuff to their from the hip and buff to their down the sights aiming, or ADS. And it seems that they severely debuffed the stability of on the hip, which we were expecting a little bit of one, but this seems to have been overkill. And then the ADS, the down the scope sighting, actually seems to have not been improved much at all, or it may have even been decreased along with the hip accuracy that you had. So that's really, really bad if that actually turns out to be more than hearsay, and I certainly hope that they get right on top of it, because I'm desperate to see that weapon class get more use, and this is going to scare people away from it even more so, right? So that's something that I'm hoping is not more than hearsay, but we'll see. And if it is more than hearsay, I hope that they fix it quite quickly. The next one is, and this is another, I believe this is a confirmed, not Bungie confirmed, but confirmed at least within the community is unanimous. The Black Spindle is reverting locked perks that are unlocked to locked, which is just a pain in the ass. This isn't like, you know, decrypting an exotic and you don't get it, but if you notice that like that was affecting your game, maybe you just went through like a trials. I don't know who's using Black Spindle in trials right now, but say you go through trials and that's an issue for you, you'd kind of be annoyed, wouldn't you? So I figured that that was something that people would want to know. Moving along from that, I'm going to say that there's a few Sparrow Racing League. Actually, there was a bunch of them, but I'm just going to mention a funny one at the end. But what I did want to do is maybe one more just kind of on the periphery. Just, you're not insane if you're noticing these things. It's about quests and bounties. So there was a get 6+ auto rifle kills quest that you have. It's not registering. And again, I knew that this was on my periphery, where I was like, man, I swear I've had some great games with these auto rifles, and I am not getting this quest to complete, but I just didn't think of it. You know, there was too much on my plate. I had too many other things that I was doing that I didn't notice it. Next one, again, I kind of noticed but didn't think anything of it. Oh, by the way, that last one is also confirmed by the community. Many people are having that. The next one is also confirmed by the community. That's that the gunsmith is incorrectly showing progression of its like base simple quests, where say you need to get however many kills before you get reputation. That one, it's not like, I noticed it wasn't filling in the, like, usually you say have a yellow square that fills in once you reach the 100%. The quest is still completing, but you shouldn't have that cosmetic difference, just like with Hawkmoon. It's confusing for players, and they're like, am I getting rewarded? Am I not? And it has an impact on overall play experience. I mean, that's the problem with these things. Even if they aren't, you know, they are cosmetic, they're not you losing an engram. They confuse the play experience. They remove the polish of it. So it's important that they get fixed. And then the last one, I hadn't seen this, but apparently a lot of people have, and this is confirmed by the community, is that the quest kiosk is not displaying quests correctly. So apparently that's happening. I didn't realize that was happening a lot, but I couldn't really see in what specific ways that was getting affected, but it is, and hopefully they're on top of that really soon. The last one is probably the most popular. Like, if you're playing with anybody in groups, you're hearing about this, and I believe they've already patched it. They noted this on the site, but this was before all these other things came out. Was there's an exploit for the Sparrow Racing League where you could actually get the book for free, which was supposed to cost 100 silver. So surprise, surprise, they fixed that one right away. But they may not have known about all these other ones in the first place, and I don't blame them for not shoring up their monetary issues first, you know. But I thought that was funny. I was like, damn it, I wish I figured that exploit out sooner. That's one of the things that has bugged me about Sparrow Racing League, is that something so, I don't know, something so relevant to your overall experience, that was borderline. I was like, I don't see that book really as cosmetic, but that's me. I should make a different video about my issues with the Sparrow Racing League. For the most part, I really enjoy it, but that book costing so much money, that really bugged me. So I felt like they kind of got just desserts with what happened there. But there we go. There's the tidal wave of Derp laid out for you, and hopefully it'll have you understanding the game better, like what's going on in terms of the weapon damage that I'm dealing if I'm in the Crucible or player versus environment. It'll save you from decrypting those exotic boots that disappear into nothingness until you get an update. And it'll make you not feel so insane if you're looking at some of these other, like I say, I don't know, call them, yeah, cosmetic things in the game that aren't affecting the gameplay, but you're not crazy. They're actually there. It is, these are issues that have come up. So funny that by definition a patch is something that's supposed to come in and fix things, and this has done quite the contrary. It's confused and broken things. So you know, if they're this is a great opportunity for Bungie to be accountable and say, whoa, you know, that was a really shitty patch release. And you know, anything like this can be turned into a positive thing if they just interact with the community in a positive way to show that they care, that they made this error, and that it might have ruined, you know, someone's play experience or many people's play experiences. But that should save you a couple headaches now that you know all that information. May the derp not be so strong in the following patch that they release, or I might be doing another one of these, you know, like, I don't know, I can only think of the fun names I'll have with that, like Derp 2, Derp Harder, or something like that. Anyways, I hope you found this useful. If you want to follow my channel, please do. Please do drop a comment. Your thoughts, how has this impacted you? Have you noticed anything else with the patch that's been an annoyance, or something that you've been able to abuse, like the Sparrow Racing League book? Yeah, so please do like, comment, subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. This is the Great Owl signing off for now. Peace.